Well, hello everybody. Let's work on section 7.1. Notice how on my hand it says wake up for Skype call because I have to call back home in the morning. But I'll remember, and maybe you guys can remind me tomorrow to get it done. But anyways, let's take a look at this problem. Well, we know that this is C, we have A, and we have B. So we know that A squared plus B squared is going to equal the C squared because of the Pythagorean theorem. Now they're saying, is this true or false? Well, b squared plus a squared equals c squared. Yeah, I can reverse a and b here and say b squared plus a squared equals c squared. So yeah, this one is true. See if you can get the rest of them by messing around with the equations in order to find out they're true or false. All right, down here we're going to find out what x is. Well, simplify the answers that are radicals, tell whether the side lengths form a Pythagorean triple. All right, well, let's do this. Let's take the square root of 7 squared plus x squared, pull this up a bit, equals square root of 19 squared. Well, then we get 7 plus x squared equals 19. And I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. So we get x squared equals 19 minus 7 is going to be 12. What is the square root of x squared? And we have x equals square root of 12. We can simplify that even more and say that x equals, well, that's 3 times 4, so 2 square root 3. And we found x. We're all good, but no. This one is not a Pythagorean triple. Why? Because we need to have rational numbers here. We can't have numbers that are like square root of 7, square root of 19. We need to have real whole numbers, integers, like the numbers 1, 2, 3. But x equaling 2 square root 3 doesn't work. Let's look at here, 40 and 41. How does that form a Pythagorean triple? Well, it turns out, if you do enough work, the answer is 9, 40, and 41 are the Pythagorean triple. Because if you do the math, actually 9 squared plus 40 squared is going to equal 41 squared. You're going to have to do some math. You're going to have to try and find out, well, is it 40 squared plus a squared is going to equal 41 squared? Or is it going to be 40 squared plus 41 squared? Is that going to equal my c squared? Is it this one or is it this one? Well, we found out that it was the first one here, and the answer was 9. Okay, I guess that you couldn't see that, but don't worry, I'll look at number 16. We can do this one together. Well, there's going to be 28 and 45. Well, there's going to be two possible answers. It could be 28 squared plus b squared is going to equal our 45 squared, or it's going to be 28 squared plus 45 squared is going to equal our c squared. We're not working on 17 here, just number 16. So which one's it going to be? Well, let's do some math here. Let's find out what 28 squared is. 28 squared is 784. So we have 784 plus b squared equals, what's 45 squared? 45 times 45 is 2025. I'm going to take this away. And I'm going to say, well, let's 2025 minus 784. 784 is going to be b squared equals 1241. The square root of that, the square root of 1241 is 35. B equals 35.22. But that doesn't work. We can't possibly have a number like this forming a Pythagorean triple because we have a decimal point there. So this isn't okay. So let's look at this one. Let's say 28 squared. We already found out that was 784 plus 45 squared was 2025. It's going to equal our c squared. Well, 784 plus 2025 equals 2809 equals our c squared. Take the square root of both sides. Square root of 2809, and the square root of c squared is 2809. 53. Wonderful, equals our c. So in the end, the answer is 28, 45, 53 is this Pythagorean triple. Alright, the next one here, looking at length and height. So we know that our length is, of this right triangle, with given length and a leg and hypotenuse. So the height is 16, and the leg is 8. But we don't really, well, that's actually enough. Oh, no, this isn't correct. Let's look at number 24 anyways. We're going to say our leg, we have a right triangle here. We're going to say a leg is 3.5. Hypotenuse is 9. We need to find out the height to find out what the area is, because the area is going to be 1/2 the base times the height. How are we going to find that out? We're going to say 3.5 squared plus h squared equals 9 squared. I know 9 squared is 81. 3.5 squared is 12.25. 12.25 plus h squared, and we take 81 minus 12.25. H squared equals 68.75. What's the square root of both sides? H equals 68.25. 68.25. Square root of equals 8.2. Therefore, if we're going to take this formula up here, we now know that it's going to be 1/2 times the base, which is 3.5, times 8.2, which ends up equaling 14.4 is the final answer for the area. Okay, this one, the same kind of thing. We have 710. Let's find out this x, because we need to know it's going to be 1/2 times this x times 7. The height here, the base is x. And let's find out it. We have 7 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. So we have 49 plus x squared equals 100. Subtract 49 from both sides, we get 51, and we get the square root of 51. X equals square root of 51. Alright, let's leave it like that. Let's say that this x is 1/2 times square root of 51 times 7. So 7 times 0.5, or 1/2, times the square root of 51 is 24.9. This equals 24.9 is my area I found. Next, let's look at, ooh, you can see through the paper. Oh no. Alright, well, if this is talking about a softball pitch, saying that we have a diamond here, and they're all 90 degrees, and they're saying that every distance is 65 and 65. And they were saying, how far is the distance between here and here? And then add 3, because he's standing 3 feet behind. Alright, you can find that out using the Pythagorean theorem. The flight distance, this is an interesting one. We know that this is 600, so, and this, the whole thing is 1400. So minus 600 from the 1400, we're going to have 800. But one of them is going to be x, and one of them is going to be x minus, 800 minus x. So we'll have x squared plus 800 minus x squared is going to equal 600 squared. And that's how you set that up. This one's a really easy one where you find the perimeter of the garden, and then you got to post these things every 15 inches, and then we talk about money at the end. I think that you guys can figure this one out on your own. Alright, have a nice day.